We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
David on Facebook here. I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at with this pretty screen. Anyways, Rob's going to post some images, so if you're not on YouTube watching this, then you might not know what we're talking about here. But first up, David said, thanks for all our help. You're welcome. What did we do? He initially had his in-ceiling surround speakers and in-ceiling top front speakers wired vice versa, so we helped him sort that out. Did we do that like on purpose, or did he just do that by listening to us?
Oh no, that was on purpose. That was actually a week that you were away, so it was Lee and I who did that.
Wow, fine then. And he manually adjusted his crossovers using your advice, Lee's advice,
Yes.
and it all sounds amazing. Well, it would have been even better if I had been here, but you can live with what you got for now. So, so absolutely not true. So naturally, he already wants to know what he should upgrade next. Here are the options he's thought of. All right,
I just like that as a man after our own hearts. It's like, oh man, I finally got all the products I wanted. Everything's so fantastic. All right, what do I replace?
All right, so let's just take a look. So it looks like he's got in-wall speakers around his TV, which is a flat panel display. He's got one on, I can't see the other side, but he's got one on the left side, one underneath, and I guess there's something on the right side back there.
Yeah, see, there's like, he's got kind of an L-shaped white piece that runs under his TV. He's got the left front speaker and the center mounted in that, and then he's got a black L-shaped piece above and to the right of the television, and there's a black in-wall speaker over there. You can kind of just see it little bumping out there.
I can't see it.
Yeah.
Maybe you can see it on your guys. I can't see it. All right, then above him, he's got some speakers, and behind him, he's got some speakers in the wall. I mean, in the ceilings. Mm-hmm. So everything else is in ceilings, right?
Yep.
Everything else is in ceilings.
That's correct.
Okay, good. And he's got to the left and against the wall, the back wall, behind it, I guess next to his couch, because it looks like his couch is all the way up against the wall. He's got an SVS subwoofer. It looks like a PC 2000.
You are correct, sir.
There we go. All right, so anyways, he says all his speakers are Yamaha in walls and in ceilings. Replace them would obviously be a bit more involved than regular speakers, but if doing so would help make the biggest improvement to his system, he's willing to consider it. He just wants to make the most noticeable difference with whatever he upgrades next. He's very happy with his current sound, but if we think new speakers would be worth it, he'd be willing to listen to our suggestions. Okay, let's address the first thing he says, which is that it would be a hassle.
Well, it would, because I mean, anytime you're replacing in walls or in ceilings, it's not.
I mean, it is much less of a hassle for you than it could be for potentially a lot of other people. The reason being is that you're putting in white and black speakers, which these things normally come white and black. Mm-hmm. Now, is it the right white and the right black? I don't know. That sounded weird, but is it the right white? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. So maybe it is a bit of a hassle. But many of these things are kind of standard shapes, anyways. So it could be just as much as taking out what you got and dropping in a new one. It's not that big of a deal. Chances are it's going to be more than that. As long as you get something that goes into a bigger hole, the hole that you currently have, it's not as big of a deal as it could be. Does that mean it's going to be easy, or as easy as replacing normal speakers? No, absolutely not. But this is like a one-time hassle. It's not a forever hassle.
I'm like, you just got it done.
I know, and right?
Given the other options that he's thought of, there are things I would do before replacing all the speakers that are already there. So that's my take on that first option.
If he's already said he's very happy with his current sound, that tells me that he hasn't lived with these speakers long enough to learn their deficiencies. And I mean that in
if they even have
any
way.
I
mean,
they may not.
Yeah.
He may never discover that they have anything he doesn't like. He may never go to another theater or another person's house and listen to their speakers and go, nope, these sound way better than mine. What's wrong with mine? He may always think, well, I mean, they sound nice, but mine. And in which case, you never have to upgrade. So you need to live with them. If you came and said, they sound a little this or a little that, or I wish they were more this, we would be considering it. So I would agree with Rob that this is not something I would jump on as our first thing. Second, he's planning on getting a second subwoofer, but since aesthetics are a priority in his room, and if you see this room, you can see clearly aesthetics are a priority, and it looks really nice. So
I like it.
Mess it up.
It's cool.
In this room, it might be a challenge. He could upgrade his PC2000 to a higher output model. Would this be the best choice for his next upgrade? That would literally be, I think, one of your worst choices for upgrade, I think.
Oh, just going to a higher output single.
Yeah, getting a single sub to replace your single sub. This room does not look that big. I mean, I don't know if it's enclosed or not, but it doesn't look that big, and I'm sure the sub crushes in here. So, what else are you going to get out of a single subwoofer? I don't think you're going to get that much. Nothing certainly all that audible. It might be more tactile stuff in there, but you're going to notice that every once in a while, and I don't know. I don't really think
that the second subwoofer, I mean, he has a fairly wide seating area. Maybe
yes.
he really only cares about one seat, entirely possible. But if you're at all concerned with the other seats in there, now he's saying, the aesthetics, big consideration, might not be able to put a second sub, but I'm looking at the front right corner, and I'm like,
yeah, I'm looking at that too.
But maybe someone doesn't want to look at a
door back there. I can't really tell.
It doesn't appear to be a door. So front right corner of this theater, I'm like, looks to be like you could put a second sub over there. I mean, it could be a box subwoofer instead if you don't want
slide underneath.
Yeah, if the cylinder is visual, or the cylinders can lie on their sides. So, if you don't want it standing up tall, it could lie down on its side, kind of under the TV-ish, over to the right or something like that. So, the second sub to me, that's a contender.
Yeah, I like that too. Well, of course we would like that. We already know that is what you're going to say because of Mustafa and all. Is there something else that he hasn't thought? Oh, I'm sorry. Right now he has one pair of Atmos speakers in the 5.2.2 receiver. He did already pre-wire it for the ceiling for a second pair of Atmos speakers directly above his seats. So with a receiver upgrade and 2 more in-ceiling speakers, you could have 5.2.4. Well, actually 5.1.4.
Right now,
should he go for that, or should he go for something else he hasn't thought of? What? So he would have speakers next to his speakers that he has? Because I think his surround speakers are in the ceiling, way off to the sides.
Yes.
On the back wall, where his current seating area is on the back wall, right? Am I missing this? So he would put speakers inside of those speakers?
Yeah, they'd be closer together. So if you're looking at the photo where you can see the ceiling, they'd be closer together, just like the two that are in front are. So they'd be in line with the two that are in front, and they'd be just in front of the soffit, just barely in front of the soffit.
Yeah, dude, I don't think that's a good idea.
Really?
I don't think so. No.
I mean, to me, if the second subwoofer were out of the question, that's the one I would have gone for. My order is second subwoofer, number 1. I think that's the first upgrade that should be made here. Doesn't need to be bigger or higher output than what you have a second PC2000 or a PB2000 or even an SB2000 would probably be just fine in this room.
I think so too. I mean, looking at the size of it, from what we can see, it looks like an SB2000 would be just fine.
But if you're not going to do that for some reason, I would consider going to 4 Atmos speakers.
I wouldn't. The second sub, 100%. I'm on board with that. I don't really see any reason to get those 2 speakers. I don't think they're going to add that much.
So you can get some steering, though. Right now, he's got no steering overhead. He's just got sounds that come from overhead. They don't move.
Dude, they're right in line with each other. It's
no, but you got to remember the surrounds are not. They're not involved with the overhead sound at all. Even though the speakers are positioned overhead in the ceiling, they're playing the surround channels. So you're not getting any movement overhead.
I don't know.
That's my second choice. It's fine. We disagree. It's okay.
I'm not. No. I think you save your money. I'll be honest with you. I just say, nope, this is pretty good theater, and I'm just going to live with it the way it is. And I would be happy with it. Second sub is probably about the only thing I would add to this. You could go to bigger display. I mean, there's certainly... you could look at that. You could look at adding all sorts of fun things to this, like Alexa or
I mean, you could
things.
Keep the flat panel you have right now for HD TV and gaming and that
projector,
and it looks like you could mount a projector screen to the ceiling. I don't see any obstruction there, so you could have a larger projection screen that comes down in front of the TV.
looks like a basement anyway,
Yeah.
so he should.
Give you
I
a bigger
mean,
field of view. So
Yeah.
that could be a consideration.
that's about the only things I would consider. I honestly, I mean, I'd love to help you spend some money, but Rob might be right. I'm not gonna say Rob's wrong. I think that you're gonna end up with 2 more holes in your ceiling and going, I mean, I guess they do stuff, and that I feel like that's not worth spending money for. But you could be that Rob, you do it and you're like, oh my god, it's amazing. In which case, please don't mention it because Rob's head is like, big.
Well, it is physically large, but hopefully it's not too conceited.
No, it's not conceited at all. It's just physically large. We can't
That's
be
true.
inflating that anymore.
I can't deny that.
Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.